12,000 years ago, when humans were supposedly just learning to farm, someone was moving 800-ton stones with laser precision. Someone was carving granite harder than steel using tools that shouldn't have existed. Someone built structures so advanced that we still can't replicate them today with all our modern technology. What you're about to discover will challenge everything you thought you knew about human history, because the evidence suggests that a lost civilization didn't just exist. They left us a message written in stone, and we're only now beginning to decode it. Our journey begins in the mountains of Bolivia, 12,800 feet above sea level, where the air is so thin that most people can barely catch their breath. Yet here, in this hostile environment, sits one of archaeology's greatest mysteries, Puma Punku. At first glance, these might look like ordinary ruins. But look closer. These aren't just stones. They're precision-engineered blocks that fit together like a three-dimensional puzzle. The tolerances are so exact that you can't slip a piece of paper between them. The surfaces are so smooth, they're almost mirror-like. Here's what makes this impossible. These blocks are made of andesite and diorite, stones so hard they rank 6 to 7 on the Mohs scale. To put that in perspective, these stones are nearly as hard as quartz. Modern stonemasons struggle to work with such materials, even with diamond-tipped tools and laser-cutting equipment. But according to conventional archaeology, the people who built Puma Punku had only copper and bronze tools. Try cutting granite with a copper chisel, and you'll understand the problem immediately. The copper will bend, and the granite won't even be scratched. Dr. Christopher Dunn, a precision machinist with over 40 years of experience, examined these stones and made a startling observation. The precision of these cuts suggests the use of machinery that we associate with modern manufacturing. But the mystery deepens when we consider the weight. Some of these blocks weigh over 800 tons. That's equivalent to about 400 cars stacked on top of each other. The largest crane in the world today can lift about 750 tons, and that's with a massive industrial infrastructure supporting it. Yet somehow, these massive stones were not only moved, but lifted and positioned with millimeter precision at an altitude where even walking is difficult for most people. And Puma Punku isn't alone. Travel 8,000 miles east to Lebanon, and you'll find the same impossible precision at Baalbek. The foundation of the Temple of Jupiter sits on stones that dwarf even Puma Punku's giants. The largest weighs an estimated 200 tons. But here is the truly mind-bending part. In a nearby quarry lies an unfinished stone called the Stone of the Pregnant Woman. This single block weighs approximately 1,650 tons. Think about that for a moment. Someone quarried a stone that weighs more than 3 million pounds, shaped it with precision, and somehow planned to move it. With what technology? How? The quarry is nearly a mile from the temple site, uphill. Modern engineers have no explanation for how such a feat could have been accomplished with ancient technology. Yet, there it sits, perfectly cut and ready for transport, waiting for machines that were never supposed to exist. But massive stones are just the beginning of the mystery. Across the world, we find evidence of a precision that challenges our understanding of ancient capabilities. In Egypt, the Great Pyramid of Giza contains approximately 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing between 2 and 80 tons. The precision of the construction is staggering. The base of the pyramid is leveled to within just 2.1 centimeters. That's less than an inch across a base that spans more than 13 acres. To achieve this level of accuracy today, we use laser levels and satellite GPS. Yet according to mainstream archaeology, the Egyptians accomplished this with rope, wooden levers, and copper tools. But perhaps even more mysterious are the interior passages. The Grand Gallery, for instance, is a corbelled passage that rises at a precise 26-degree angle. The walls are so straight and smooth that modern measurements show deviations of less than 0.05 inches over distances of 150 feet. Christopher Dunn conducted extensive research inside the Great Pyramid and discovered something extraordinary: evidence of precision machining. Using sensitive instruments, he documented tool marks and surface finishes that are consistent with advanced mechanical cutting, not hand tools. When I examined the granite surfaces in the king's chamber, Dunn explains, I found evidence of precision boring and cutting that would require diamond-tipped tools and sophisticated machinery to achieve. But let's travel even further back in time, to what might be the most mind-bending precision mystery of all: Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. Göbekli Tepe predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years. It was built before the invention of writing, before the wheel, supposedly before humans had developed complex societies. Yet the precision here rivals anything we've seen. The site features massive stone pillars, some weighing up to 50 tons, arranged in perfect circles. These aren't rough-hewn stones. They're precisely carved with intricate reliefs depicting animals, symbols, and geometric patterns. The level of artistry and precision suggests a sophisticated civilization with advanced planning and engineering capabilities. Dr. Klaus Schmidt, the archaeologist who excavated Göbekli Tepe, called it a cathedral on a hill. Gitadi. But cathedrals are built by established civilizations with centuries of architectural experience. According to our timeline of human development, the builders of Göbekli Tepe were supposed to be nomadic hunter-gatherers just figuring out agriculture. The precision paradox becomes even more intriguing when we examine the tools allegedly used. At most of these sites, archaeologists have found copper and bronze implements, stone hammers, and rope. Yet the work demonstrates knowledge of geometry, physics, and engineering that we associate with advanced civilizations. It's as if someone gave a group of people armed with kitchen knives the task of performing brain surgery, and somehow they succeeded perfectly. Here's where the mystery becomes truly extraordinary. These precision megalithic sites aren't isolated anomalies. They are part of a global phenomenon that spans continents and millennia. From Peru to Lebanon, from Turkey to Egypt, from Easter Island to Japan, we find the same impossible precision, the same megalithic construction techniques, and the same inexplicable mastery over materials that should have been impossible to work with ancient tools. In Peru, the fortress of Sacsayhuaman displays the same precision polygonal masonry we see at other sites worldwide. Stones weighing hundreds of tons fit together so perfectly that the joints are nearly invisible. The Spanish conquistadors, upon seeing these walls, believed they were built by demons because they couldn't conceive of humans creating such precise work. But here's what's truly remarkable. These Peruvian stones show evidence of having been somehow softened or molded. The surfaces flow together like putty, conforming to complex, three-dimensional shapes that would challenge even modern engineering. Engineer Jan Peter de Jong spent years studying these walls and made a startling discovery. The precision of the fit and the complex three-dimensional shapes suggest that these stones were somehow made plastic during construction, then allowed to harden into their final form. But how do you make stone plastic? Some researchers have theorized about plant-based acids that could soften stone, but no such technique has been successfully demonstrated on the scale required for these massive constructions. On Easter Island, isolated in the Pacific Ocean, we find more evidence of advanced capabilities. The famous Moai statues, some weighing up to 80 tons, were somehow moved across the island and positioned with precision. But recent discoveries have revealed that these are not just heads. They're full-body statues buried up to their necks. The precision of the carving on these buried portions is extraordinary, with details that were never meant to be seen preserved in perfect condition. This suggests a level of craftsmanship and dedication that goes far beyond what we'd expect from an isolated island population. Off the coast of Japan, the underwater Yonaguni monument presents another piece of the puzzle. This massive structure, now submerged beneath 75 feet of water, displays right angles, terraced levels, and carved steps that suggest artificial construction. If this is indeed man-made, it would have been constructed when sea levels were much lower, at least 12,000 years ago. The precision of the cuts and the sophistication of the design would predate known advanced civilizations by thousands of years. But perhaps the most intriguing pattern is the knowledge these ancient builders displayed of advanced mathematics and astronomy. The Great Pyramid of Giza encodes the mathematical constant pi in its proportions. The ratio of its perimeter to its height equals pi with remarkable accuracy. This mathematical knowledge supposedly wasn't discovered until thousands of years later. Göbekli Tepe is aligned with certain constellations as they appeared 12,000 years ago. The builders somehow knew the precession of the equinoxes, an astronomical cycle that takes 26,000 years to complete and wasn't officially discovered by modern astronomy until the 2nd century BC. At this point, I want you to consider subscribing to this channel if you're finding these revelations as mind-bending as I am. We're uncovering evidence that challenges everything we thought we knew about human history, and there's so much more to explore. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because what we're about to discover next will shake the very foundations of archaeology. And if you're already questioning everything you learned in school, give this video a like. It helps more people discover these hidden chapters of human history that mainstream academia would prefer to ignore. The pattern is clear. Across the globe, separated by vast oceans and supposedly isolated for thousands of years, ancient peoples were using identical precision techniques, working with the same impossible materials, and displaying knowledge that shouldn't have existed yet according to our conventional timeline. This suggests either an impossible series of coincidences or something far more extraordinary. A lost civilization with advanced technological capabilities that spread its knowledge across the globe. As we near the end of our investigation, let's step back and consider what all this evidence might mean. If we're looking at the remains of an advanced prehistoric civilization, what were they trying to tell us? The precision, the astronomical knowledge, the global distribution of similar techniques, these aren't random achievements. They suggest a deliberate effort to preserve knowledge and leave a message that could survive virtually any catastrophe. Consider the durability of stone versus other materials. Wood rots, metal corrodes, paper disintegrates, and digital storage fails. But precisely cut stone can last for tens of thousands of years, preserving information long after more fragile technologies have disappeared. What if these megalithic sites aren't just impressive monuments, but information storage systems? What if the precision isn't just showing off technical capability, but encoding mathematical and astronomical knowledge in permanent form? The Great Pyramid encodes not just pi, but also the golden ratio, the circumference of the Earth, and various astronomical constants. Göbekli Tepe preserves the positions of constellations as they appeared 12,000 years ago. The precision at Pumapunku demonstrates advanced knowledge of engineering and materials science. From an information theory perspective, these sites are incredibly efficient storage systems. They preserve multiple types of knowledge: mathematical, astronomical, engineering, and geological, in forms that can be decoded by any sufficiently advanced civilization that rediscovers them. But there may be another message embedded in these sites, a warning. Many of these megalithic sites show evidence of sudden destruction or abandonment. Pumapunku appears to have been struck by some massive force that scattered its precisely fitted blocks across the landscape. Göbekli Tepe was deliberately buried under thousands of tons of earth around 8000 BCE for reasons we don't understand. Could these sites be memorials to a civilization that was destroyed by some catastrophic event? Are they warnings left for future civilizations about the fragility of advanced societies? Recent research into ice cores and geological records has revealed evidence of rapid climate changes and catastrophic events in Earth's recent past. The Younger Dryas period, beginning around 12,900 years ago, saw dramatic global cooling that lasted for over a millennium. This period coincides with the dates suggested for many of these mysterious sites. Some researchers, like Dr. Dennis McKenna and Dr. Antonio de Nicolas, have suggested that these sites might be part of a civilization insurance policy, a way to preserve crucial knowledge through periods of global catastrophe and civilizational collapse. If a civilization knew it was facing imminent destruction, whether from climate change, cosmic impact, or other catastrophic events, creating durable stone monuments that encode essential knowledge would be a logical survival strategy. But perhaps the most profound message these sites convey is about human potential itself. They demonstrate that our ancestors were capable of achievements that we're only beginning to understand, using knowledge and techniques that we've lost and are struggling to rediscover. Modern experiments attempting to replicate the precision of ancient stonework using period tools have largely failed. We can move massive stones with modern equipment, but we cannot achieve the precision finishes without advanced technology. This suggests that the ancients possessed knowledge or techniques that we haven't yet recovered. The message in stone may be this: human civilization has risen to great heights before, and it can do so again. But it's also fragile, capable of being lost and forgotten. The megalithic builders may have been trying to ensure that their knowledge survived, waiting to be rediscovered by future civilizations advanced enough to decode and appreciate it. Now we come to perhaps the most controversial aspect of this mystery: the evidence that doesn't fit the accepted timeline and the scientific establishment's reaction to it. In the 1990s, geologist Dr. Robert Schoch made a discovery that sent shockwaves through the archaeological community. While examining the Great Sphinx of Giza, he found clear evidence of water erosion, not wind erosion, as had been assumed, but water erosion from sustained rainfall. This finding suggests that the Sphinx was carved when Egypt experienced regular rainfall, which last occurred during the African humid period that ended around 9,000 years ago. This would make the Sphinx at least 4,500 years older than conventionally believed, possibly dating back to around 12,000 years ago. Dr. Schoch's geological evidence is compelling and has been peer-reviewed, yet it has been largely dismissed by Egyptologists. Why? Because it doesn't fit the accepted timeline of human civilization. But the Sphinx isn't the only piece of suppressed evidence. In Bosnia, Dr. Semir Osmanagic has spent over a decade excavating what he claims are massive ancient pyramids, larger than those in Egypt. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed geometric structures beneath natural-looking hills. The largest, dubbed the Pyramid of the Sun, would stand 720 feet tall, significantly larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Carbon dating of organic materials found in the excavations has yielded dates of over 12,000 years old, yet mainstream archaeology has largely ignored or dismissed these findings. The European Archaeological Association issued a statement calling for the excavations to be stopped, claiming they were damaging natural formations. This pattern of dismissal extends to other sites as well. When underwater archaeologist Dr. Robert Ballard discovered what appeared to be ancient structures on the Black Sea floor, suggesting human habitation in areas that have been underwater for thousands of years, the findings received little attention from mainstream media or academic journals. The question becomes, Why is evidence that challenges our timeline of human development so consistently dismissed or ignored? Dr. Graham Hancock, a researcher who has spent decades investigating these anomalies, suggests that academic archaeology has become too invested in the current paradigm to seriously consider evidence that contradicts it. There's a kind of intellectual inertia in archaeology, Hancock explains. Careers have been built on certain assumptions about human development. When evidence emerges that challenges those assumptions, it's often easier to dismiss it than to reconsider fundamental beliefs about our past. But perhaps the most intriguing suppressed evidence comes from genetic research. Recent DNA studies of ancient populations have revealed unexpected findings that suggest human migration and development patterns were far more complex than previously believed. Studies of ancient DNA have found genetic markers in prehistoric populations that suggest contact between groups that were supposedly isolated from each other for thousands of years. This genetic evidence supports the idea of a more connected ancient world than our current models suggest. Dr. Spencer Wells, a population geneticist, has noted, "The genetic evidence is painting a picture of ancient human populations that is much more complex and interconnected than we previously imagined. There are patterns in the data that suggest contact and migration events that don't align with our traditional archaeological timeline." Even more intriguing are the legends and myths found across disparate cultures worldwide, from the Sumerian Anunnaki to the Hindu Vimanas, from Native American star beings to the Celtic Tuatha De Danann. Cultures separated by vast distances and time periods tell remarkably similar stories of advanced beings who came from the sky and taught humans knowledge of construction, agriculture, and technology. While these are often dismissed as mere mythology, the consistency of the accounts across unconnected cultures is striking. Could these legends be cultural memories of actual advanced civilizations that existed in prehistory? The archaeological establishment's response to such questions is typically swift and dismissive. Suggestions of advanced prehistoric civilizations are often labeled as pseudoscience or fringe theories, regardless of the evidence presented. But science progresses through questioning established beliefs, not by defending them against all evidence to the contrary. The history of science is filled with examples of theories that were once considered fringe becoming accepted fact when enough evidence accumulated.